Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I'm from Rakesh Yeshiva High School, and I'm working on the Raspberry Pi video game system. And here's my second milestone. Okay, so I have a few things to discuss for this video. First, I have my controller, the communication that I'm using with the controller, and then the game itself. So let's start with the controller. So I think we had a video before with the controller, but this is basically SparkFun Red board with a joystick shield, SparkFun joystick shield on top. Just soldered it and put it all together, and it's running a very simple script. Here we have a joystick, which is essentially two potentiometers put together to output an X and Y, so that you can give a very precise location. And then we have 4 simple push buttons. So at first I was going to use Bluetooth with this Bluetooth module, and I got it to work very well because it's very easy to use it with the Arduino, and I got it to communicate with my phone and other computer devices. But the problem is when I tried to get it communicate with the Raspberry Pi, I used this random Bluetooth USB, and the connection was very unreliable and unstable, meaning that sometimes it would work, sometimes it would communicate, and sometimes it wouldn't. So I hypothesized, or whatever, I came up with an idea that the reason why it's not working is probably because this is not supposed to work with the Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi probably does not output enough current for it to run smoothly. So in the meantime, before I get one of these things to use directly on the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi, I'm using just a wired serial connection, and that's very simple. It works almost the same as how Bluetooth would work, which is using Pi serial. So that's basically it, and here I have a little battery pack attached for when I'm going to have a case, which is my next step, making a case for all this. But let's take a look at the game. So brief description of the game. I just found a game offline, and I took it and I modified it by, the game is written with Python and Pygame, and I modified it by allowing it to get inputs from the serial port, and then to use that to move the paddle. And the way I did that was using Pi serial, which is a very simple library which allows you to do that. And at first I had a lot of problems with that because the communication between the two was not working, and it should have. I saw that the Arduino was outputting whatever I told it to output, and that the Raspberry Pi was receiving it. But for some reason, when I would put that into an if statement, when I would put that as a thing for the if statement, it wouldn't work. And then after doing a lot of testing, I realized was that when the Arduino outputs something in serial, it sends it with a lot of white space. So then we had to strip that white space for it to work. And now let's see the game game work with the controller. So the blue on the left is me, and the one on the right is the computer. Eventually I'm just going to make this full screen and make it into an executable so I don't have to run Python every time. I'm really bad at this game, and I'm using the push buttons, by the way, but I may change that into a joystick later. The up and down push buttons. Alright, so that's basically it for now.